Between 1941 and 1945, Nazi Germany and its collaborators murdered 6 million Jews and millions of others across Europe. This is known as the Holocaust. Its history is complicated, heavy, and challenging to teach, but one that is so important. In fact, North Carolina lawmakers passed legislation in 2021 requiring public schools to teach it and other genocides to students in middle and high school. Last night, I told you about the local retired rabbi who, as a result of that legislation, is leading dozens of educators on yearly trips to Poland to ensure they have the tools to teach our learners. I sat down with 3 local teachers who embarked on that journey this past June. These 3 Guilford County teachers have more than 50 years of classroom experience between them, teaching subjects like world history and English to thousands of students. So it never feels mundane because you've got fresh eyes on it
every day. Yes.
Yeah, it's always different.
But this past summer, John Haynes, Melanie Handy, and Lisa Mortensen became the students.
It was a week of just intense everything, intense emotion, intense experiences, intense just kind of focus on this one issue, topic, event.
Over the course of 8 days in mid-June, Lisa, John, and Melanie joined 33 other North Carolina educators in Poland to learn about the history of the Holocaust. They'd all studied it before on some level, but never like this.
The effect of being there rather than just reading about it. I mean, you can feel the heartache and when you step into those spaces where people were, that energy is still there, that sadness, that just despair is still there and very alive.
The teachers were guided through 3 death camps, various sites in Warsaw, Krakow, Lublin, and a small village called Tokocin, where 3,000 Jews were shot and killed in the forest over the course of 2 days, all the while thinking about how they could bring these lessons home.
Something that you realize when you get there is how close to this people who weren't Nazis were. Mm-hmm. You know, they could see it, they were near it, they could smell it, they could, they could sense it, and that's not to cast stones. It's quite the opposite. It's to help my students understand that, if you find yourself in a situation like that, it's tough.
Led by retired Greensboro Rabbi Fred Gutman, the idea is to not just read about the atrocities under the Nazi regime, but to be immersed in it through stories about people, including women and children, Jews and non-Jews, who lived and died here, and those who fought back.
We actually had a chance to hear from a survivor whose father was in concentration camp with him, who was a cobbler, and so he had that trade, and so they were tasked with making the boots for the Germans, and they found that inside the heel, if they made a certain slit in the material, the heel would split open and fall off. And he shared about, somebody being caught and killed for doing that, but that was something that they continued doing because it was their way of taking control, and it was their little bit of resistance that kept them going.
I know, Melanie, you mentioned that you're going to have the rabbi come and talk with your students. I mean, what are some of the other things that you all plan to implement into your classrooms this year that maybe you wouldn't have prior to June?
One of the things that I'm really sort of determined to do is to not make it one flat story, to really incorporate different points of view, different stories, different experiences that changed over time and place and based on who the person was. I think that it's really important to get away from the sort of single narrative of the Holocaust.
I don't want to equivocate the Holocaust with some of the things going on today, but some of the attitudes, some of the apathy, is still there, and with other events. And so I'm hoping to encourage them to start looking around and be aware and take action, even if it's something small. What can you do as a 14, 15-year-old to make the world a better place and maybe head off, a future atrocity?
And yesterday, we heard Rabbi Fred Gutman in the story that we aired on the Fox 8 6 o'clock news say, you know, when you hear a witness, you become a witness.
Yeah.
And you know, that used to be easy when there were a lot of Holocaust survivors around
Right.
who could share their stories. But of course, many of them are getting older. Many of them have unfortunately passed away. And so this, Rabbi Gutman said, is a way for these teachers to become the witnesses and to bring that knowledge home.
And I was just reading, there are 16 Holocaust museums here in the United States,
Right.
all of which do a very moving and effective job of telling the story, including the National Museum in Washington, which I was in just a few years ago. But I can't imagine just being there,
Yes.
where it actually happened and how.
Every single one of them came out of this trip and said that was the single most life-changing event
I bet so.
I have ever been through.
Absolutely. Well,
So,
good. Interesting program.
We'll continue to follow this. We do hope to check in with the teachers as they kind of dive into their Holocaust units with the students.
Absolutely.
And again, Rabbi Gutman already planning ahead to next summer when he brings even more teachers to Poland for this education.
Spreading the message.
Yes.
All right.